but I can tell you that a smile is probably, or teeth in general, probably the number one thing in that, in beauty. Because, and you might have seen the images, memes or whatever, of people with like a missing eyebrow or whatever it is, but they have one slight imperfection in a tooth and you wouldn't even know that the eyebrow is missing, right? Or that they
Mhm.
have wrinkles, right? So the teeth just stand out. Like a
Mhm.
smile is most likely the first thing someone is going to notice about you.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Dr. Dwayne Bodie, who graduated from UMDNJ in 2006, completed his GPR residency at Stony Brook, and purchased his practice in Nyack in 2008. Early in his career, working with Dr. Catrice Austin of VIP Smiles, the dentist to the stars, Cardi B rapped about, sparked his passion for cosmetic dentistry and high-end aesthetics. Later, an Army National Guard deployment during COVID unexpectedly kept him in Kuwait for 8 months instead of Iraq. We discovered digital dentistry and became inspired to pursue advanced training and new technology. That journey eventually led him to digital smile design, Invisalign, minimally invasive dentistry, and becoming an early adopter of innovations like Curodont. The last few months, he's been using the Photona laser, which drastically expands the aesthetics he's able to provide. So, Dr. Bodie, welcome and glad to have you here.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's start from the very beginning. How did you first get interested in the medical field? We'll start with that.
Since I was a kid, apparently as a young kid, I told my parents I had an interest in dentistry in particular. I don't recall that, but they always bring it up. Um, you know, but certainly in high school, it was junior year of high school, I was debating different medical careers, whether it was med school, dental school. Actually, it was med school. Then I was doing
Mhm.
research, and then that piqued my interest in dentistry, primarily because most were self-employed. That trend is shifting a little bit, but
Mhm.
I think that's still true. Most are self-employed. You have some artistic freedom. You don't have the stress of hospital careers, like emergency medicine, things like that.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
so
Okay. And so that's what's got you interested in having your own practice.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So you purchased your practice in 2008. So it's been some time. You've had almost 20 years. What kind of led up to you purchasing a practice versus starting from scratch, starting your own practice from scratch?
Yeah. So I finished residency in Stony Brook, New York, 2007, I think it was. Worked in a couple offices in and around Manhattan, the suburbs also. None of them were quite what I was looking for. I just decided I wouldn't be satisfied unless I did my own thing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
For various reasons, they just didn't live up to what I expected coming out of dental school.
Hmm.
So the only way I would have been satisfied was doing my own office. I basically designed a 50-mile radius. I was living in Queens at the time. Nyack fell within that radius. There was a practice for sale. I went through a broker and it worked out. Like all these years later, I'm still
Hmm.
here. So
Okay. Well, I mean, been in business for almost 20 years, so can't
yeah,
something went right.
yeah, yeah.
Now, I want to talk about your experience in the Army and also your travel experience and kind of how that affected your maybe perspective when it comes to dentistry and especially like the digital dentistry and kind of the more technological areas of dentistry. So, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So between the Army National Guard and Digital Smile Design, which is run by Christian Coachman, which people in the dental space should be familiar with, I've gone to, I believe it's seven countries besides the US. With the Army, I went to Kuwait for 8 months, like you said in the intro. Over in Kuwait, at Camp Arifjan, they have the CEREC machine. At that time, they had not the Prime Scan, but they do now. But so I learned on whatever version before. No, it was a Prime Scan. I'm sorry. They didn't have the Prime Mill.
Mm.
So I learned how to use the Prime Scan, the older version. So we had to draw, we still draw our own margins and stuff, but essentially the technology's improved quite a bit. So I learned a harder version of it.
Mm.
But when I came back, I couldn't go back to taking traditional impressions, right? I
Mhm.
spent 8 months delivering same day crowns. I fell in love with the technology. It was great free training.
Hmm.
I was lucky in that regard. And then because of the people I met in Kuwait, like the army dentists are so well trained. The active duty guys, they get free classes and they're the only dental support when abroad. So their
Hmm.
skill set, certainly in like emergency dentistry, is just so vast and in placing implants and whatnot. At that time, I was not doing implants,
Hmm.
very basic dentistry. Hanging out with those guys, talking to them, being inspired by the level of dentistry they were providing, I started taking a lot more CE classes as soon as I got back. As soon as I got back, I went to the Dominican Republic with a friend and we learned how to place implants. Then after that, I ended up in Brazil through digital smile design. I taken another implant class. With the Army also had me over in Morocco, providing emergency dentistry, sorry, in the desert for uh, 2 weeks. I've been to, and with digital smile design, I've traveled to Italy. Oh God, I can't even remember. Oh, South Africa, several places. The bottom line is each of those places offers something that we're not doing yet in the United States, or just some, whether it's immediate load and implants, just the materials they use. Like they were using Curodont over in Spain. I first discovered Curodont a year before the FDA approved it in the United States.
Hmm.
So as soon as it was approved, I started using it, right? I was
Hmm.
definitely one of the first people to use it just because I had prior knowledge of its existence and effectiveness over in Spain.
Hmm.
So yes, between the Army National Guard and Digital Smile Design, which offers classes worldwide, essentially, I've learned quite a bit from international dentists and international experience. So
Okay. And for that digital smile design, can you kind of talk a little bit more about that? Like, what is it? How is it prevalent now? I mean, you were talking a little bit about impressions before, and I just remember when I was younger, the impressions they would kind of fill this like tray with like putty and then kind of put it in and into the teeth and let it set and then they pull it out and that's the impression of your teeth. So I
yeah.
guess what is digital smile design and how has that kind of changed since then?
Yeah, so like I said, it's the head guy is Christian Coachman. They're based in Madrid, Spain, and what it is, it incorporates the whole face. It's a whole face approach to smile designs. Like typically, you take an impression, you send it to a lab. The person in the lab has no idea what this patient looks like, right? They would just use the other teeth as a guideline to how to make them. The difference, and all these cases behind me actually are digital smile design.
Hmm.
So what it is, we submit patients' photos, many photos, different angles, also videos with them making statements and whatnot, and then it's analyzed. They look at the eyes, the ears, all that, and they design just the perfect smile to match that particular face. So it's not a generic design. And the beauty of it, the patient gets a preview of the outcome before we even start, and they get to choose if they wanted like more rounded angles or longer or shorter teeth or different shades. So the bottom line is we know the end result literally before we even start. It's like an architect that designed a house, right? Like they're not guessing, they're not hoping for a perfect outcome or
Hmm.
an ideal outcome. They know all the parameters that need to be in place and they know the end result before even starting. And that's what digital smile design is, right? So it's a whole face approach.
Hmm.
With the teeth ultimately ended up in harmony with the face. So it's like very individual.
Wow. Okay. So very interesting in that sense then.
Yeah.
So basically it's you're kind of given a snapshot into the future of, hey, after this treatment plan, this is what the entire thing's going to look like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's usually not any surprise when these things come back. They just fit
Mm.
and we already know how it'll look, right? It's
Mm.
all pre-planned. And
Mm.
again, we submit all these photos and videos and the iTero scan or Cerex, whatever machine you're using. I have an iTero and a Cerex. With them,
Mm.
I use the iTeros.
Mm.
And yeah, so they have a pretty good representation of these patients. We also have there's an app, I think it's called Clone,
Mhm.
that it essentially gives them a 3D representation of someone's face. And
Mhm.
that's the next wave of what's coming. I'm sure the iTero scanner will someday do 3D facial scans, and so that is the future of dentistry. So
Mhm. Okay. Now, Dr. Boy, you also provide laser aesthetics, things like lip plumping and also gum lightening. I think it's something that not a lot of people think about when they think about a dentist on the aesthetic side. But talk a little bit about how you decide to include the aesthetic side, and also what is lip plumping and gum lightening.
correct. Yeah. So funny thing is, most dentists probably don't know about like that gum lightening is even because I didn't know until I bought the Fotona laser, the Photona Lightwalker 2 laser. Then I went down to Tennessee for a class. Then they started talking about the capabilities and they're showing you how to use different settings to achieve different results. But when I bought it, I had no idea you can lighten someone's gums, right?
Mm,
Someone with dark pigmented gums, you can actually
mm,
turn them pink
mm,
just by stripping the epithelium. Lip plumping, it's actually stimulating collagen growth, right? So as opposed to injecting artificial substances into like dermal fillers and whatnot into the
mhm,
lips, it's your own body's response to the laser that leads to plumper lips.
mhm,
Typically, it's 4 treatments, but even after the very first treatment, you do see a really nice result. Then it reverts back a little bit, so they continue doing treatments, and after the fourth, it should get a nice end result.
mm.
Um, Even wrinkle reduction with the laser, right? It's all just collagen stimulation. Yeah, it's been quite the practice changer because again, now I'm going from just fillings and crowns
Mhm,
to facial aesthetics. Like
mhm.
I had no plans of doing these things. Then I bought the laser, discover all that it does, and it's been
Mhm.
incredible.
Wow. Okay. So now on the aesthetic side of like the gum lightening, is that going to be more in situations you talked about like the different pigmentation? If people have kind of like maybe dark and they wanted to make it more pink, is that usually led to some type of condition where it's kind of a little bit more of um, people have a condition where it kind of darkens it
It's
unnaturally
more
or
genetics. So like
mm,
those of us with darker skin, you would
mhm,
tend to see darker gingiva, and
mhm,
it's purely cosmetic, right?
mhm,
Not something that has to be done. In fact,
mhm,
I'd say most people with it are, we've had it our whole lives, and
mhm,
they tend to keep it. But some people do want that perfect smile, especially if they've
mhm,
invested in Invisalign or a smile makeover,
mhm,
right? So the laser also does gingival, the gum recontouring, right? So if you're going to invest in a nice smile, why not go all out and just fix everything that can be fixed? It's a pretty
mhm,
straightforward procedure. They're in the chair within an hour. I can do probably the whole mouth, honestly, as
mhm.
far as gum length, lightening.
Wow.
Certainly one arch, right? Either the
Yeah.
upper jaw or lower jaw within that hour. So.
Yeah. Okay. And with any of these aesthetic treatments, the lip plumping, the gum lightening, anything along those lines, is it painful? Because I think that's the first thing people think about when they go to the dentist. Oh, I'm going to get my teeth, my mouth drilled in. So is any of this painful, the aesthetic side?
The beauty of a laser is it's just so incredible. It is I hate ever saying pain free. It is very,
Mm,
very, very minimal
mm,
pain, and certainly not during the procedure because we do give a little bit of anesthesia.
mm,
The recovery time is very fast, and that's the biggest advantage of a laser. There's just less bleeding than using traditional scalpels for certain procedures. Recovery time, certainly within a week, they should be perfectly fine. Generally
mm,
within 48 hours of gum lightening, patients have reported that they've been okay.
mm,
Um, what else? The lip plumping, same deal. Uh, the next day you should typically be fine.
mm.
Yeah. So, like I
Okay.
said, it's been quite a game changer.
Yeah. Okay. Now, aside from the aesthetics, you also do some other things as well, like releasing tongue ties. Um, I mean, I've heard the concept of tongue ties, but I don't understand kind of like what goes into. I just think of like the cartoon, like you have the tongue that's tied into a knot.
Yeah.
But like, I guess how do tongue ties
Yeah.
develop, and then how do you release them?
Yeah. So again, purely genetics, luck of the draw.
Mm,
They don't all have to be released, by the way. If you can
mhm,
function fine, if you can chew fine, speak fine, oftentimes you certainly don't have to do it.
mm,
But like when we do certain Invisalign cases or any orthodontics, in order to move teeth, sometimes it helps to relieve that tension that the frenum would cause, right?
mm,
So
mhm,
very select cases where we actually release a tongue tie or lip tie.
mhm,
But yeah, again, with the laser, very minimal pain and very fast recovery, right? Because we're
mhm,
not using a scalpel, we're not cutting anything. The
mhm,
laser also is great at that. First of all, they bleed less, and then it's great at stopping the bleeding that does occur.
mm.
And again, the recovery time is the game changer.
Okay. And you can also help with ulcers, which is kind of interesting because I think about ulcers where it's something in your stomach, not necessarily in your mouth. So can you talk a little
Oh
bit more
yeah,
about
unfortunately, quite common in the mouth.
that?
But
Mm,
yes, the laser is great at those also. It's like instant pain relief.
mm,
Um, and that's been incredible, honestly. That's been one of the more impressive features of the Photona laser that I've seen so far.
hmm.
And I've
Okay.
even had people looking us up because of the ability to provide such
Oh,
services.
okay. And then also snoring reduction. Now I know with now I'm since I talked to so many dentists, like I know that the snoring really is in the mouth section, but I think most people don't realize that someone in, well, I guess, a dentist can help with snoring reduction. So is this also tied to the laser? I guess, what do you do to help with snoring reduction?
Yeah, so it's a similar concept as the lip plumping and the
Mm,
wrinkle reduction. The laser is aimed at the posterior palatal area in the mouth, and it just opens up the airway. There's some amazing photos out there of pre and post-op cases that you can look and see that it actually does work.
mm,
About every year or so, you just have to do a touch-up essentially, right? Do it again.
mhm,
But yeah, it's very effective. And there's an app out there too that you could monitor how much someone is snoring because they
mm.
wouldn't know, and it's
Yeah.
hard for a partner to truly tell if. So
Mhm,
yeah, you can monitor like actual decibel levels and whatnot and see the improvement
mm.
by
Okay.
use of the laser.
Interesting. Now, Dr. Bodie, what are some of the most common myths or misconceptions you hear from your patients? I'm sure there's quite a few of that they just have a wrong perspective on, or just a misalignment on perspective. So, what are those common misconceptions or myths that you hear?
Number one, or the top two, root canals have gotten a bad rap lately. I guess there was a Netflix documentary or something. I'm not too
Mhm,
familiar, but I do know like people now think it's linked to several systemic diseases, maybe even cancer I've heard thrown around.
mhm,
There is no scientific truth to that.
mhm,
Um, it's still a good procedure in many cases. I personally don't do root canals. My associate does. I
mhm,
just was never a fan of them. I'm more into the cosmetic end of dentistry, honestly.
mhm,
Things that patients actually appreciate. No one
mhm.
appreciates a root canal. I guess it gets them
Yeah,
out of pain. They appreciate that
yeah.
aspect. But yeah, so root canals that they're not good or not needed anymore, but they certainly there is a time and place for them.
Mhm,
And whitening, bleaching teeth. Everyone, not everyone, a lot of people assume that it's causing harm to the enamel and
mhm,
that it's it's bad in any way. It's really not. Honestly, most people have no sensitivity.
mhm,
The ones that do, there are great products out there like core whitening that actually come with adequate desensitizers,
mhm,
and you get phenomenal results with zero damage to the teeth.
mhm.
All
Okay.
it's doing is removing staining molecules.
Hmm.
It does not remove enamel at all.
Mm. Okay.
What doesn't
Now,
that remove enamel on a different topic? Sorry to cut you off.
yeah, that's
There
fine.
are
Please
things
go ahead.
that are abrasive, like charcoal toothpaste and those things. So,
Mm.
so that you want to stay away from.
Okay, so you do want to stay away from charcoal
Yeah,
toothpaste.
anything that's abrasive, which
Mm.
yes, it'll work, but why does it work? It's working because it's taking away some tooth structure, right? It's taking away a little
Ah,
bit of,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
But
good to know.
whitening gels and whatnot do not. So you get
Mm.
great results without damaging the teeth.
Okay. Now, Dr. Boy, let's say that somebody's looking for a dentist, let's say a specialty dentist, because I think most people would go to the general dentist kind of most of their lives. But let's say they're looking for a specialty dentist and they don't know who to choose. What advice would you give to this person as they're doing their search if they can't find that dentist that has the knowledge, has the specialization, and can help them get the end result they're looking for?
Well, certainly start off by asking your general dentist,
Mm,
uh, because even if they don't know someone in particular, it's a very it's a very small dental world. We all kind of know each other. There's probably no more than 3 degrees of separation between every
mm,
dentist in the United States.
mhm,
So if your general dentist doesn't know who, we can certainly ask someone else. And generally, reviews are a good source also, whether it's Google reviews or now the AI search is a big thing.
mhm,
How
mhm,
accurate it is, I don't know, but
mhm,
that's another resource, of course.
mhm.
So, but yes, uh, I would start by asking a general dentist. We have a pretty a pretty vast network of resources that we can lean on.
Okay. Now, what role do you believe creativity plays in your approach to patient care? Because I think when people think about dentistry, they're like, don't get creative, just follow the plan. But I mean, do you think creativity plays a role in what you do?
Oh, absolutely, especially when it comes to aesthetics, cosmetic dentistry. No two faces are alike, so no two smiles can be. So you definitely have to be creative. Definitely want to have the patient involved because they have to like the ultimate product that you present.
Mhm.
So their creativity comes into play as well as yours, and you just find that sweet spot where they get a great result.
Okay. And I'm sure that throughout your experience, you've run to some challenging cases you've worked on, or maybe even memorable cases. Is there maybe one story that comes to mind that you're able to share of just one of those cases and ultimately how you were able to get them a successful outcome?
Let me see. Uh, a challenging case. So again, with digital smile design, it's helped immensely because all these, pretty much all of these behind the ear
Mm,
full mouth rehab, right? So like the
mm,
entire upper arch, all the teeth on the top were redone or
oh
stuff like
wow.
that.
Hmm.
Prior to digital smile design, all these would be difficult.
Hmm.
Honestly, with digital dentistry, do we still have challenges? Yes, but it's a lot less common than it used to be.
Mm,
So when I get these things back, they pretty much go in.
hmm.
It is rare that I have any surprises anymore. In the past, there've been there've been many cases where you send out and it just doesn't fit, and there's just no explanation why. And then you just have to start from scratch, and depending on the patient, that could be an okay day or a very bad day.
Hmm.
Um, Nothing in particular comes to mind. I can tell you, I've had things that I thought would be easy, like extractions,
Hmm.
and sometimes they're just not. Or I
Yeah.
mean, pick a small fill-in on someone. Sometimes you think it's going to be an easy day. You go in and it's a large cavity, and or the patient's just not getting numb. It's a
Hmm.
very unpredictable, very unpredictable business,
Yeah.
dentistry.
Yeah.
So, but no one major case stands out. Not unfortunately,
Yeah.
fortunately. So.
Okay. I guess in this case, it's the if nothing comes to mind, it's a good thing.
Yeah, but like I said, the digital revolution
Mhm.
has been a game changer. So anyone that's not doing digital dentistry right now, they will
Mhm.
be in the next couple of years, and they'll be glad they did, and they'll be sad that they didn't do it sooner because
Mm,
it makes crowns and bridges and
mhm,
veneers and all this stuff significantly easier.
mhm.
Um, you don't have to ship things to a lab. The lab
Yeah.
gets it instantly.
Mhm.
The lab can see instantly, is this something we can do? They can contact the office. Hey, you've got to fix this. If we missed something, uh, then it's easy enough to correct it. You don't have to take a whole new impression. You can often just edit the impression you have and re-scan just that portion.
Mhm.
Again, just a game changer. So
Mhm.
a lot less guesswork and praying involved in dentistry today with the advent of digital dentistry.
Okay. I think that's a perfect segue into this next question as far as where do you think the future of dentistry is going with you talked about the digital smile design. But where else do you think the future of dentistry is going?
Heavily AI driven, like
Mm,
everything else.
mhm,
I currently use AI to help interpret X-rays. You still
mm,
have to actually look at the X-rays. AI
mhm,
makes mistakes like anything else, but it
mhm,
does help. It says, "Hey,
mhm,
look at this." It doesn't mean, "Hey, this is a cavity" or
mhm,
"This is a problem,"
mhm,
but it does help, right? So, like, if we do a full mouth series of X-rays, 18 X-rays, that takes a while to look for a 1 millimeter little spot of
mhm,
of dark amounts gray,
mhm,
whereas the AI just helps narrow it down significantly.
mhm,
But yeah, everything's AI driven, honestly. Even things like Invisalign, like the movement is actually initially AI driven, then a tech and the dentist has to actually do the fine tuning of it.
mhm,
Um, Same day crowns, the CEREC that when it first came out, you had to actually design a crown. Now you
mhm,
literally press a button
mhm,
and it's designed, and then you just tweak it minimally. So with advances in technology, it's going to be more and more. And AI receptionists, right? Like they're not perfect, but if you call my office and probably most offices at this point now, especially after hours, it's going to be a computer that answers.
mhm.
The beauty of that is it knows where all the openings for appointments are. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
look, whereas the person,
Mhm,
So it's very promising, but
mhm.
obviously, well, hopefully it doesn't replace us. I don't think it will. Yeah.
At least not yet, anyways.
Yeah, I doubt it ever will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay. And with the future in mind also, what is the vision you have for your practice?
so I plan on expanding in the next year or two. Right now, I have the entire ground floor, about 2,300 square feet of space, 5 operatories. I plan to expand to the floor above us to another 5 to 7 operatories, depending on how I design it. Um, Again, then if new technology comes out, I usually am one of the first to jump on board.
Mhm, mhm,
So, as AI and everything else develops, I
mhm,
am willing to try it.
mhm,
I'd like to be the most advanced, or certainly mention amounts the most advanced dental offices in the state.
mhm,
We do provide a spa-like atmosphere. I use I use so many things that a lot of people might not even know exist. Like I have glasses where the patient can see like a 200 inch TV projection that helps
Mm,
them relax. I usually put on like a beach scene or a mountain or just something
mhm.
relaxing. So and wherever the head moves, the screen moves, right?
Ah,
So it plays music.
mhm.
We have scent diffusers. Yeah, just most people don't like coming to the dentist, so we
Yeah.
make it very welcoming, friendly, comfortable experience as much as we
Mhm.
can. And the goal is to expand from where we are to just a larger space, more high-tech things, and as dentistry evolves, we'll be right there at the forefront evolving with it. So,
Okay. Well, Dr. Bodie, I do have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at drbodie.com.
correct.
Yep.
Dr. Bodie.
Yep. Okay. Now, last question. What does beauty mean to you?
Yeah, it truly is in the eye of the beholder. But I can tell you that a smile is probably, or teeth in general, probably the number one thing in that, in beauty. Because, yeah, and you might have seen the images, memes or whatever, of people with like a missing eyebrow or whatever it is, but they have one slight imperfection in a tooth and you wouldn't even know that the eyebrow is missing, right? Or that they
Mhm.
have wrinkles, right? So the teeth just stand out. Like a
Mhm.
smile is most likely the first thing someone is going to notice about you.
Mhm.
But it certainly still is in the eye of the beholder.
Mhm.
But to me, a smile is the driving component of beauty.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Dr. Bodie sharing his expertise. So, Doctor, where can people contact you in your practice?
So the website, like you said, it's www.drbodie, that's drbodie.com. I am also on Instagram, Nyack, Nyack underscore dentist. Facebook. Again, if you use Google or ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, whatever there is today,
Mhm.
Dwayne Bodie or Dentist Nyack, I will pop up. Oh,
Awesome.
and the office phone number. See,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Now that's the last thing people give out. Back in the day, that was number one.
Mhm.
845-358-5110.
Okay, awesome. Well, Dr. Bodie, this is great. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and thanks for sharing your message.
No, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.